right? And we are, look, there's always going to be tech problems no matter what happens. And for me, when I'm looking at this, my head is really, really big. So I'm gonna have to solve for that like
Just
another
adjust.
time. Yeah. But how's it
Manual
going, Luke?
adjustments. Doing awesome, man. Happy Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy Friday. So what we were talking last week, and we were talking a lot about artificial intelligence, and actually, you and I talk about artificial intelligence quite a bit. What were I can't remember how we ended up last week. Do you? But I said that
I
we were going to talk about
we
something this
You were
week.
going to the event. Gosh, what were we talking about? I
Well,
think
I
we're
just come back from the event, and I just shared with
yeah.
you that there's really, from an industry standpoint, from an enterprise standpoint, I didn't think that what I took from that is that everybody's trying to figure it out. There was nothing new. All I did was travel to Dallas and actually sit in an audience and watch people have discussions that I've already had with most of them with you, but with other people as well. There was nothing innovative that I had not already known. But I also recognize that in our industry that's not the case.
Yeah, they I mean on a y- y- you know big picture, the wheels move slow in those, but respectfully, like they you know these companies didn't grow to be the size that they were just by throwing stuff against the wall, or just going in too fast at things. But you know, I think it seems like a lot of the innovation comes from the ground up. Um,
Yeah,
but
I can agree with that. I can
I think
most
what we were
definitely agree with
touching
that.
on
One of
too
the
is a lot. Go
one of the things that I'm also focusing on is developing like an influencer or I don't know, developing a curriculum or an innovator award or something like that for employees of
hmm
an enterprise solution. And one of the things that I come up to when I'm on this conversation and we're brainstorming it is that we have to recognize what tools are available. I'm not entirely sure how innovative someone in the enterprise level could be. Like there's a lot of like I'm using Claude, I'm using Chat GPT, I'm using Gemini. Even though those are all general generative AI systems, they all have very unique
right.
specialties like personalities. And but I'm bankrolling that out of my own pocket. I'm not expensing it. And the and you're doing this as well, is you have a Make account, you have a Zapier account, you're using NAN, and that is what's really driving the automation. So when we're looking at the way that people are engaging with I think that for the most part, yeah, people need to have understanding, but people need to know how to engage directly as a chatbot, directly asking it questions, it's
Right.
returning questions, asking it to create something, copying and pasting it. Whereas what you're doing and what I'm doing is we're looking more as A, making it a team member, B, actually making it fully autonomous. Like I would be great. Like these videos right here. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to take this video, I'm going to drop it in a folder, and then it's just going to run through its sequence, being using AI to evaluate everything, to do the editing, to do the thumbnail, to post it, to cut it up with using Opus Clip. Like, I want to automate all of that because I think automating it's going to be good enough.
Yeah.
I don't think me being the human bottleneck is going to make that much difference than just fully automating it.
Done is better than perfect. Getting something out there and then continuing to refine your process over time is, I
Yeah,
mean,
and I don't think
that's my
I don't
motto.
think I'm the innovator on this. When I'm watching some of these YouTube shorts or things that are popping up in my
Yeah.
TikTok or my Instagram and whatnot, they're just the short clips. Some of those have really screwed up captions, and that goes back to done is better than perfect, because they're just doing the same thing we are. They're running it in Descript. They're not over they're not being overly perfectionist to make sure
Yeah.
that all the punctuation is correct or even the words are right.
So I tested last week after we connected my YouTube. You can wire up your YouTube directly to Opus, so any things go in there automatically gets connected and cut up, and then you can connect your social accounts and just post directly from there.
So did
So,
so so do you have that fully automated, or do you have to quality control that? So it'll go from
it
YouTube right into
it'll
Opus
go
Clip, but then do
directly
you have
from
to choose the Opus
YouTube.
Clip?
You still have the option. It doesn't automatically post, or I mean, you might be able to, but I didn't. I just realized it was a new feature
That's
last
cool.
week because I popped in there, and got a video posted from our from last week's call, and um, good enough, right? I wasn't trying to make it perfect, just
So
test
you
it
did
and
so you did post it. So it went from YouTube. We did this last week. It went to YouTube. You went through,
I
you connected
I
Opus Clip to your
manually I
YouTube
manually added it last week
to
uh,
Opus.
to Opus.
Got it.
So I just grabbed the link and popped it in there. But during that process, I realized that there was a way to automatically connect your YouTube. So any YouTubes that you post to your channel will automatically get pulled in, so you can skip a lot of the other automation, and Opus will connect to all your social accounts too, so you can actually post directly from Opus to your socials.
Okay.
So you might be able to save yourself a bunch of additional steps there, as long as you're going directly into your YouTube, which obviously you are. So from there, so previously, like I had uh, I had like a VA that was doing some editing internally in there. So that would probably be personally my next step to making improvements over time. But I mean, you can pop in there and within maybe 5 minutes post out a handful of videos from that's already chopped up. Not perfect, but it better than nothing.
Yeah.
And improve that. It's got decent editing functions in there. So
So here's
and
my
they
plan with Semper Ruck, with the rucking, my passion project. I'm going to be recording a short a day. So my long form video is all about teaching. It's actually teaching them something, how to do
Mhm.
whatever it is. I have a lot of experience in that part, so I'm still going to do that. And then the idea is that, see, what you had just shared with me is that I didn't know, because I was going to run everything through automation. I was going to actually have the video go to YouTube, have make. Now I am going to switch over to NAN, because from a pricing and a scalability function, I think that just makes sense. I think I'm going to burn up through make.com really, really quick. And I think that's probably why you did that. But I'm building out the workflow in Make just because it's faster and I don't have to learn any coding. Or I don't have to learn the process of NAN, because I did check out the back end of that, and there's going to be a slight learning curve. It's not as
Yeah.
easy as drag and drop as Zapier and make.com. You need to I don't think it's impossible. It's not like learning something brand new, but it's just learning a new system.
Yeah.
But I am going to do that, and I'm gonna build it out and make. I'm going to fine tune it, and then I'll move it over to that, and that'll allow things to scale.
I mean, you could definitely get a much cleaner output doing it that way. Obviously, there's some moving parts, but big picture, I think that's a good plan of action.
Yeah, I mean, some of these make workflows, there are a dozen steps, which I'm getting nailed. And for those that are watching, you get charged for for every one of those steps. Whereas the big thing that I saw with NAN is that it doesn't matter if I have 12 steps, a dozen steps, 100 steps, it just charges you once when someone
Right.
just goes through the whole thing instead of, going through each step. But with that comes you have to have an understanding of the way that it operates. I don't think a layman when it comes to coding, like if you're illiterate to that and you have to learn how to somewhat read beforehand, that's not for them. Drag and drop is going to be perfect for them. And I haven't really dug into it. I know you have, but I haven't really dug into it yet. But that's my current assessment on that. But I am going to go down that path.
Cool thing is anybody can learn anything, and especially now with like all the like the coding, even coding, you don't need to know how to code, but copy and paste or just natural language, say, hey, fix this type of a deal. Which is one of the things like if you're doing when you're jumping into N8N, you can take you could take like a screenshot of your make and say, hey, I want to make this in N8N type of a deal, and it just give you the perfect step-by-step type stuff too.
Yeah.
Or if there's
You
ever
know,
any errors.
what's interesting, I had technical problems yesterday with Ecamm, and it just happened to be when I was going live for a corporate event. So we actually I had to abandon Ecamm and I had to go to old school Zoom. The positive side to that is, and I know that you adopt the same thing, is that there's no such thing as failure if you learn from it. So I was able to create a redundancy in the event if it ever happens again because I didn't have it. I had to figure that out on the go. So I'm like, oh, well, there's some problems within this system because I thought I had backups, but I don't. And so I developed out a backup system in the event we have to go to that again, which we won't, but it's there if I needed it. And I had to, now, thankfully, I've gone through this problem before. What had happened, and I think it was when I was with you on here, I accidentally clicked on, yeah, it was when we were setting up your last YouTube. I accidentally toggled on the virtual camera, and they should just get rid of that because once you do that, it disconnects, it makes it so the video and the audio don't go into Zoom.
Mm.
I was able to easily figure that out because last time when that happened, after I figured it out, I went to the Ecamm Facebook group and I'm like, hey, I'm just setting this here just in case any of you guys experience the same thing. This is what I did. If your audio and your video is not going into Zoom, here's what I had to do. It's the virtual cam. So I already had the instructions put there, but the instructions were a prompt. I went to YouTube. I'm like, this is my problem. I need to remove the software. So it walks you through step by step. Delete this, go into the library, look for these files, delete this. Oh, by the way, if you want to just have me do it, here's a script and just put this into, I forget what it is, on the Mac.
Gemini or whatever.
No, it's their panel, it's their terminal. It's the terminal within the Mac. And I just posted the script and it just went delete.
All right.
And then it says empty the trash bin and restart it. And lo and behold, now that whole process, even though I've done it before, if I had to reteach myself to do it again, would have been an afternoon. It would have been a morning, especially if it was a Windows computer. But that's just what AI's doing. And I think that's probably more of that was not full automation. I think that was more, if we're looking at things as tiers, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 1 be like awareness and engaging with AI. And then tier 2 is like, operating it as a teamwork and you're offsourcing things. I think it was probably more of a 1.9 on that step scale, but that's what you can do with it.
Absolutely amazing. It's changing the game for a lot of folks.
But now as we're going back to the workflow, I envision, and I don't know if I said this last week, I envision that this video is going to get done and then it's going to trigger make Now I can actually eliminate a step because once it's on YouTube, it can actually just, it's automatically going to go there. I want to figure out, and I don't necessarily know if this is possible yet, to really embody the whole agentic portion of AI. I want it to make a decision. I don't want human bottlenecks. I don't want to have it get to a certain place and make somebody make a decision. Like if it comes up with three options, I think either one of the three are just going to be fine to do it based on the data.
That's where I think you really like N8N is you feed everything into an agent. The agent can make decisions. It can make decisions to send an email. It can make decisions to do X, Y, and Z. But it will, it can take, your general intent and be able to help make decisions based off of, how you want it to work.
Yeah. So with SemperRuck, here's what I envision, and with what we're doing here, is once the video's done. Like I want to do one step. If I can get rid of that step, I'll do it. But I want to do one step, and that is like maybe taking it from my phone and uploading it into a file, or some sort of triggering activity to initiate the process. And then I'd like to get to the point where I'm just hands off, and so it goes through, it transcribes it, it edits it, it cuts it, it fixes the audio, it does whatever it needs to do. It goes to Opus Clip. It finds the best hooks. It creates the shorts, and then it deploys everything. Because if I'm doing that every day, let's say I'm doing a 90-second video every day, and it has to cut it, I would say, and you tell me if this is for you too, I would say for every 90-second video going into Descript, it's still taking me probably on the low end 15 minutes to go through, what is it, Underworld? I forget the name of the AI. To fix the audio, to fix this, to take out the long pauses, to get rid of the filler words. It still takes like 15 minutes, and you do 15 minutes times each video. Like let's take this one. Typically, we're going to do 30 minutes here. So that by itself, to put this in post-production, to download it, to upload it, to create a thumbnail, that would probably take at least 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes. Probably longer, but at least 30 minutes. And look what you're doing with Opus Clip. The amount of time that's just going straight to YouTube to Opus Clip, that just saved you 30 minutes. Because that by itself is going to take 30 minutes. But now if you just eliminate the whole human decision-making capability and just operate on the good is good enough, I think we're onto something here.
Accepting that like a 60% quality is, that's a good rule of thumb that I'm continuing to try to operate out of, where it's like 60% is good enough.
See, I think you'll get better than 60% too.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is I'm using AI probably about nearly 100% from the concept in my mind to drafting that first draft, the framework. I'm like using that 100%. And that by itself, just the structure, that puts me like at 80%.
Yeah.
I think.
Just any product or work output, just personally just being cool with 60% to just ship, constantly shipping, that's name of the game for me at a lot of point, and just being okay with that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I did today, which saved me a ton of time, is I went out rucking this morning. So I was out at 5:05. The sad thing with that is it's dark again. So I no longer get twilight that early in the morning. But I had ChatGPT. I was talking to it, and I have to create a 5-minute segment to be on stage in Las Vegas in front of real estate agents promoting this AI innovation challenge that I'm working on. And I have this idea that I want to bring in my digital avatar, and it's going to co-present with me. Of course, it's going to be scripted. It's going to be structured. I got to work on the timing. It's going to be very cinematic. I want to talk about where we're at right now and where it's going in the next 50 years. I want to promote the finale of this challenge. And then we're also coming up with this AI Foundations course. I think I've shared this with you before.
Yeah.
What I did with AI, and I was out for an hour, is I was just saying, okay, and I framed it just like that. And I said, ask me one question at a time, and let me know. I wasn't talking to it. I was actually dictating to
chat?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it always interrupts you when you're not, when you're talking like that, it will just start talking and interrupt you, and you're like, no, I wasn't finished. So, so I had to actually dictate to it, let it come out, and then they have that little speaker on its response that'll read it back to you. So that's what I was doing. But it asked me like a dozen questions, and in the end, it put together a whole storyboard, a whole script. Like it's 90% there.
Yeah.
And for me to do that, to close a door, to sit in the room, number one, I can't do anything without some sort of distraction unless I go to a way far off land and turn off my phone, and you get penalized for that. It really created things, and it saved so much time on
I would
that.
definitely move your timeline up on that more, not 50 years, probably 18 months. Give
Right.
you better. I'm for real, man. Like you're the progress of, what we've seen just over the last couple years. I mean, that's only going to accelerate. As
You're right.
so bringing that time horizon, maybe max like 3-5 years to get a more realistic glimpse of where things are going to be that people can grasp on. I love the idea of your foundations course though, because like you said, like at a bare minimum, just having the basic concept of being able to engage like in the chat, like the chat framework is fundamental to getting going and starting to use things for the masses.
Yeah. Well, the consensus with my colleagues, I hear this a lot, and you probably hear this a lot too, is that everybody's using it for listing subscriptions. Everybody's using it to polish their email. Everybody's using it for this, that, and the other. And what I had to say to them, I'm like, no, they're not. I'm like, that's not my experience, because I'm actually getting out into the field and I'm meeting people belly to belly in person. And
Right.
no, the minority is, but the majority of our aging demographic in real estate and mortgages, no, they're not.
We're
They
still
don't,
not.
and the reason why is because I'm finding that many of them are still a little bit skeptical. Maybe they've watched the Terminator series way too much, because we all grew up with that.
Yeah.
They're worried about privacy. They're dipping their toes in the water. And number two, there's a technical barrier that, even though it's pretty simple for you and I to use, it's not simple for everyone to use. They just don't get it. Like there are, I think it's probably fair to say that is trivial and as elementary I think it is that we have to actually go through a prompting class. We need to have a prompting class
Right. For sure.
in order to get the masses, the 80% onto base level. Now, I also believe that if we're
I gotta
successful
I
in
gotta
doing
boogie
that,
my man. I'm at the top. I
oh,
gotta. Sorry, I should have given
top
you
of
a
the hour,
heads up.
brother. We'll get this on to be continued.
Beautiful.
All right. Have a good day. Bye.
Rock and roll.
Actually, I'm just going to finish what my thought was on there for all of you. So, if in fact we were to, and we're going to just have this blank canvas, if we were going to